Ask us a question, we tell you no lies. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday evening, and it is time for another edition of Let's Talk Oconee SC. You can watch along on our website at letstalkoconeesc.com. Our number, we've got a text line open for you tonight, or you can call 864-973-7559. That's 864-973-7559. Tonight, we have Donald Chris Ruin with us in our... Well, now, how's the negotiations coming, Chris?
Well, as you know, I'm a great negotiator.
Yeah.
So actually, I spent the last week talking with Juan Melliot.
Yeah.
And Julio Avis Premier Productions, and I think we're close to closing out a deal.
Okay, good. I was just
Close.
wondering.
The price is a little low, but it's going to be beautiful by the time we get done.
You haven't paid your money to me this month yet. You owe me some more money, by the way.
I told Gladys to pay it. I had it on auto pay.
Oh.
Are you sure?
I'm positive you
How
hadn't
about
paid.
how about if I sell you a good pair of glasses after?
Well, I was working on the budget here of Let's Talk Oconee just the other day and figured out that, I can move some money around, but yet we're not raising anything. And, I can put it in special funds. And, the millage of the show is going to stay flat, but yet we're still increasing it by $11 million. So
we can say that we're cutting costs?
Oh, yeah, we're cutting all kinds of costs.
Okay, I just want to make sure our investors know that.
It's kind of like this dump fire equipment, that we have here. It's you remember that dump fire. I've waited so long.
Maybe we should trade this equipment and go in the coaster making business with one of those high speed lasering graders.
Ooh, now that would be an idea. We could do little beer koozie looking coasters, kind of like set your cold beer on or something.
Yeah, maybe we in that fire sale we might be able to get the wood lathe, turn some bowls and pencils too.
I like that idea. Well, gentlemen and ladies, welcome in tonight. We have another wonderful, exciting show for you. Coming up in about 20 after, I actually have a very special interview. I've got to talk to Jessica Mallows from the Sunoc area. She is superheading a program called the New Horizons Social Club. And Jessica's going to be with us with an interview that I did Tuesday, so we're going to hear that. But right off the bat, we've got conversations to talk about millions of things. And, Kathy, you have been on a roll this week. You are fired up like I have never seen, Kathy. Folks, you just got to understand, you are fired up. You are on fire right now.
Maybe.
And we're ready to step away and give you all the airtime that you need, because I'm telling you, you have made some great points this week.
I went out of town, and she went off the rails.
Well, when you when you go out of town,
maybe just a little.
We're three here are perfect. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure that out. You go out of town, and it's just us. Chris gets more airtime. That right there is just something else. And
My airtime?
More Timu, right?
Yeah, well, I tell you what I like.
Okay.
I see that you took my advice. Now you got a hairpiece?
I did. Folks were talking about I was going bald, so I went ahead and got a rug, and it kind of
it really
does.
It looks good.
It does. I think so, too.
Like the carpets match the drapes.
Did you actually say carpets match the drapes? Never mind. I don't even want to go there. All right. Well, first of all, tonight on our broadcast, let's talk about historical things.
Oh, like wallpaper?
No.
Not
let's talk about what are they famous for?
Good Lord.
Who wants to start this conversation?
But what I don't understand, though, is for somebody not to be into historical things, they sell a whole lot of old shit in their antique store.
I just was blown away.
Yeah.
I was totally blown away. Was they're famous? Look, this is a
building. Is he planning on hoping that they don't fix it so they can wholesale it to somebody
or
probably
move it off and
it's all about making
just
money.
Let it fall down.
I mean, it is an historical piece. It's the Alexander House that was actually located where the Lake Kiwi Dam was at, and it was moved. Duke gave it to the county. They moved it in '68, moved it over to where it's at right now, present High Falls. But I told you all about a year ago when we started doing this show, if you remember correctly, I said the first thing to be cut is going to be Parks, Recreation, and Tourism.
You did say that.
I said that.
We had that conversation.
I told
around,
you the first things that would be cut was Parks, Recreation, funds.
Anything fun.
And what did we see?
Exactly.
That's only, they don't want to have any fun here because, they want to go to Asheville and have their fun. They don't want to be here and have fun.
Well, I just have a problem.
But they like to go up there and have fun.
No, they like to piss their money away
So-
on things like Sewer South, because then that way they can take this historical items.
Well,
that
now let me play something for
I'm
you
sorry.
here real quick. Let me just say something, not
too
play.
wild, sorry.
I know I'm wild too. So this is kind of the same group that we don't want to fix something of historic value, but yet we will fight a Confederate statue. Does that make sense?
Oh my God!
Does that make sense?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was there.
Okay. Does it make sense? We've got something of a historic value that's on the National Historic Registry.
So when was that
we-
thing?
Well, and isn't it
So-
ironic?
But when was that?
1800s.
It was built in which part of the 1800s?
We're talking
middle.
about-
Well, it's part of the old Pickens district, so it would have to be 1825 because the
you're
counties were split in 1868. So it would be
but wait a
somewhere.
minute. So you're telling me that this home survived
No,
the Civil War? It survived Sherman burning the South.
yes.
It survived all the stuff that they do
It
reenactments about.
It survived a lake being built.
But it survived. It survived some of the most heinous things that happened to the South.
It was part of the old.
And this guy don't want to have nothing to do with it. Two, don't want to keep it going.
But they
And
spent
let's
money
just-
on
let's
it.
just
Haven't
take
they spent money
everything-
on preservation for this?
Yeah.
Well, just take everything else away from it. Your employer felt that it was important
Yes.
enough to preserve.
but,
So to me, that's just
Hey, look,
slightly
everybody
embarrassing.
knows that big corporate Duke is woke. I mean, if they want you to,
You know, I don't like that word.
But-
I mean,
But I'm just telling you-
I don't like the way people like weaponize that word because
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 they
the
can't-
opposite of woke is asleep. So
No. Woke started with civil rights. People don't realize
Well,
that.
yeah, but here again, what I'm saying, the opposite of that is asleep. So
But-
who
but what
wants
I-
to be asleep? I mean,
but for a company
I agree.
to be that engaged in preservation of history, climate control, climate change, all that stuff, they hire some really awful people when it comes to this. I mean, these are conservatives against conservation.
They're not conservatives. Let me ask you a question.
Well,
let me make a
I want to finish, but go ahead, Chris.
All right.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I
I'm gonna
agree
let
with
you go
they're
ahead.
not
Okay, so
conservatives,
not
but-
only do they don't want to spend the money because they're so narrow-minded, this guy that was talking, you could tell he really cared. They mocked him.
yeah,
They
that's my
mocked
big
him.
thing.
These immature, these guys. I don't care how old you are.
Well, I don't want to.
They're all immature leaders, so they want to play like they're in junior high, and they think they're big shots, and that's why they mock people.
Well, my point of the matter, going back to what I was saying, is are you going to save a Confederate monument? You'll raise hell and jump up and down if somebody wants to take a Confederate
Yeah.
monument down, but yet you have a house of significant portions that's a part of history that was part of a county, and then it separated and formed two counties in 1868. This is history enough. This is importance enough.
That's
And they just
that's
wanna
a
make sure that it
Confederate
was-
monument in itself, Jeff. It survived the Civil
War.
It survived. To preserve something that survived the Civil War should be precious to these folks. Why is the Sons of Confederate Veterans not all over this guy for his disrespect to something that has survived the Civil War in the South?
But you
they
understand
should
where
they
I'm
should
coming
be
from.
running him
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah, well, I
understand
mean,
my point.
And he did. He mocked him. His voice changed. He was like, "So are we trying to match wallpaper? We trying to move a nail?" I mean,
It's a lot
honestly,
more
he
than
mocked
that.
him. He mocked him in public, and it's shameful. And I apologize because that was embarrassing for me. He's supposedly our representative.
I mean,
But,
I have a huge problem.
Yeah, I have a huge problem
I mean,
with
if we're
that.
going to sit here and we're going to talk about history and we're going to save
just take
monuments,
everything else out of it.
but
you know.
I called it. I told you all
did. You
that this
did.
was going to happen. I knew exactly where we were heading. I still know where we're heading. We're heading on a path, on a crash course to destruction. It's here, folks. And, we can lay it out in front of you, but you're going to have to make your own opinion at some point soon. Because come October is going to be the next wave of when it really is going to hit, and it's going to stink. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not making this up. The facts is right there in front of us.
You know what you're going to see? You're going to see Gatlinburg Gatlinburg
No,
shot.
no.
it's
No,
gonna be-
what
No,
you're
you're not, because
no.
nobody's going to have a place to put their camper to go parking to come to the Gatlinburg because there ain't going to be one.
There won't be one because if it was
nobody's
left up
going
to
to have a
them,
place to do their picnics. Nobody's going to have a place to do their birthday parties or anything that
I
they
mean,
do
you're
at
sitting.
these parks.
Hold on before y'all let you go. We're sitting over here. You're talking about the parks. What's this that Glenn stopped at somebody's house and said, "Well, I had this metal building built, and that'd be good enough for them then." What was that? Explain that to me, Glenn. You stopped
What-
at somebody's house.
You know,
oh, we gonna save a lot of money.
But here's the thing. I appreciate the interest and the effort. Okay, first I do that, and I did a little research. I appreciate that. I appreciate that he did say, okay, let's look around, and I agree. If you think you can find it cheaper, let's look around. But here's the thing: where that is in that particular park, that building is going to be going on straight rock. You can't just put any old regular building like you or I would go put in our backyard.
You know, we have some talented people that works in the county
They'd already thought about that.
that built a great facility at South Cove. They've done great work at High Falls. They renovated the rec department at South Cove. Our county people know what to do.
Yes.
Buy them the building materials, pay them, and let them build it because we have some great people in the county
They had
employment.
they'd already done that, and I get what he was doing, but they had already done their due diligence because you just can't do it.
The problem is
You can't do it where it's at.
the problem is our council doesn't understand due diligence, and you can see that in a lot of the things they've tried to do or undo. So they wouldn't know due diligence if it hit them in the face.
And then also to come back again and to be mocking about, oh, they want climate control for their toilet paper and this and that, and that's not it either. And then to say things, oh, well, I've kept my tractor, in a barn and blah blah blah. All they don't want the seats to crack. No, they have to keep chemicals at certain temperatures.
Right.
And they also do maintenance and whatnot on those tractors and stuff. And y'all, I don't know if you know how hot it's been,
let me
but
ask
to
you a
change the
question.
oil in a tractor and grease and do all this kind of stuff, we don't.
Oh, the thing out of
we
their
don't-
mouth is, well, it was like a 90, 100-something degrees back 45 years ago when we did it out there.
And we had people drop dead at 48 years old of heat stroke and stuff too. So, go
Well,
talk to some of these people.
I just
that
want
were-
you all to understand that's watching and listening that last year I said it, I've been preaching it, parks and recreation, anything with fun is going to be cut out. So if we come to a situation that taxes are going to have to be raised to pay for the funds of where they put in these special funds, parks, recreation, tourism is going to take the first cut, and it's going to be a huge, substantial cut. And now we have just got to a point
Which
where our
causes it
park
more
system
expensive.
is in great shape. They've put a lot of investment in. They've fixed the wires. They've fixed electricity, the water. They've redone the bathhouse. We have people coming here. They book our campgrounds, and that's going to be the first thing to go. So when there's trash piled up and the grass hasn't been cut at the parks, don't come to us complaining because guess what? We told you so.
Can I say,
But hold on. I understand what you're saying about the parks are going to close, but private equity is about to do some things in the county, and I've heard rumor that up in Mountain Rest they're going to put there's going to be a gay and lesbian friendly campground coming onto some property up
Really?
there as you go down to Earl's Ford, down
Good.
to the river.
we
So-
should be. We should allow that. Let me ask one question. So you talked about due diligence. And you know how they love to bash Elliot because Elliot will sit there and somebody will say something and he'll think about something. This is what I'm talking about the due diligence, the immaturity. When these guys have people talking or they want to talk, they always cater to the camera. Snap decisions. They got to have their comments. Snap decisions. Never once do they truly think about what they're saying. It's all theatrics. That's all it is. Exactly like with the budget, exactly what you're talking about, Rennie, what Jeff is talking about. And we all know that when you take those funds away that are coming in through tourism and the parks, guess what? We got to pay for it ourselves out of our own pocket.
Well,
And you know what? I could very easily say that they're hiding that. I just think they're too stupid to know that.
Well, it could be.
Well, they're not going to get their raise either. You know, they're stuck at the 3%. They didn't
Well,
get
these
their,
poor people, yes.
and
Well,
there's
well,
not going to be a study
Well, the
because
thing
Well,
that,
well, they said now there is going to be a study, but
If
it's
you
going
push
to be
anything-
next
if you
year.
push-
Like
Next year.
third or
Look,
fourth
look,
quarter, we'll
more
if you
lies.
if you push anything in your budget to the third or the fourth quarter,
You know,
it ain't happening.
It's not an important. It's
Right.
not. That's right. It's not
It's just
important.
not
so people are
well,
off
we
your
knew that was
back.
going to happen.
That's bullshit.
But hey, but you know what?
That
The police force got their raise. The firefighters got their raise.
You have to get in the microphone to
Oh,
talk.
sorry.
The firefighters, the police officers, they got a raise. Nobody else.
Nope. And that's
Everybody else got 3%.
But it-
That didn't even keep up with
But
inflation.
But it's
Isn't it
kind of like
amazing?
that's how it was designed anyway.
Of course
Let's just
it was.
face it. That's the way it was designed.
They don't. They said there are non-essential employees in the county, and well, guess what? They
They're-
identified them.
Yeah.
If you didn't get a raise like the police or the fire, you are non-essential
But
according
then
to them.
here's the question that no one will answer of that group, the three. Where is the money coming from to have funded this? We only know a little bit. But next year, when we got another budget,
A millage increase.
where is it going to be funded from? Because basically, this was put into a one-time special fund. Some of it was taken out of that general fund. See, that's the number they always want to concentrate, folks. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. They want to concentrate on that general fund number. So they take $2 million out, lower it. It's like $58 million. Here they go. Woo, we saved it. Look what we did. Yay! Look what we did. We saved you money. But then you got to go down and take a look at the other portion. You were at $142 million. That's everything. And then you create these little special funds. Those little tiny little bitty special funds. And then when you add that back in there, the overall budget goes back. It goes to $152 million.
Yep.
That's, folks, for them to sit there and tell you that they cut the budget, lies, L-I-E.
And if you go
Wait.
back and compare it to all the budgets, the previous budgets,
Yes.
and try to compare it, I mean, it is unreal trying to read it compared to all the old ones.
Well, I'm gonna be the outsider here, and I'm gonna say this.
You can't be an outsider if you live here.
But listen, Matt Durham took the budget. He took it home. He probably spent 180 hours on this thing, and he drove it in a complete circle, all the way around, right back to where it was.
I can agree with you in that statement.
And he didn't do anything but convince himself that the budget that the county proposed was the right thing to do.
No, I disagree.
Now he changed it up. He hid stuff, and he's tried to church it up, and make himself look good to the OCC. But he knows right here and right here, if there's anything in there, that the proposed budget by the administrator and all those directors at the beginning was the right budget. Because
I see what you're saying. I do. I
Because
see
within
what he's
six-
saying.
but within-
we've done a full circle and it's back to where it was originally at
Right.
before
Okay,
it was all cut.
But then I want to say something.
Okay, but I do. I get what Randy's saying.
Can I say something? Who's talking, you or me?
you're talking.
Okay.
I mean, you can't hear yourself rattle?
I'm just being courteous, not like you. So let me tell you. You say he's going back and doing the right thing. I disagree. My opinion is that what they want to do is, from a political aspect, they have to go ahead and act like they've made these significant cuts, and that's why they're blowing smoke at people. Notice how we were attacked all last week, and not one of them refuted what we said. Now, you say, well, he finally did the right thing. He didn't do the right thing. What he did is he figured out they couldn't do what he wanted to do because the place
true.
would blow up. So he's thinking, oh, shit, I guess I got to do it. He
But-
didn't do the right thing. It was all bullshit. And I'm going to tell you the one thing that really bothers me, and I'm going to say it because it's been on my mind. I like Amanda. Amanda's a nice lady. But she got up in that last meeting, and they had talked about those taxes being reduced, and she knew what they did. She knew that they went ahead and shifted this crap into these other funds to hide it so they could say there was a reduction, and there wasn't, and there's like an $11 million increase.
Well, you know, Chris,
Hold on. Kathy, I want Kathy.
Well, what I was going to say is he did not give the 5% cost of living increase. So he did not come a complete 180, and they did not do that study. And they both said, "Oh, it will be in the fall," which is not what is going to happen.
And now
so
it's going to be
that is
now
not,
it's going to be in
I don't
2024.
trust
That
those
is-
guys
that
as
is-
far as I can see them.
and
Well-
that is a lie. So and also, so I like her too, but she is not standing up for her folks. So that is a foul right there. So again, essential employees, like I wrote in my letter,
That they never read?
those that they never read, that I had to read myself. But here again, those essential employees are the ones, that are out on the road or whatever, but without all the people that are taking the phone calls and dispatching and all the people doing the paperwork and all the people that are in the court system and actually prosecuting the people that you pick up, and even the public defender that is there to defend them and to keep the court system rolling, you don't have a system. So they're essential. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry,
I
y'all.
agree. I agree, but I don't think as a human being that Amanda Brock doesn't care for her people. I think she really does. But she's in a between a rock and a hard place.
Oh yeah, they're
with
going to try to
with this
smash her if
council.
she does anything.
And just like last council meeting when she looked Luke Moore dead in the eye and said, "I'm not going to tell you what's these bond funds are going to be used
And that's
for
the problem I have.
because that is going to be because that would show our hand." She didn't come up with that. She was told to say that.
Okay, look, can I say?
And
I
whatever
only need 10 seconds.
whatever disingenuous person put her up to saying that should be ashamed.
So
10,
Can I?
9,
Can
8,
I? No, let me
7,
say.
6,
All right, let me say one.
5,
Let me say this.
4,
Well, you can't
3,
do that because nobody can
2,
hear me.
1. Time to go to break. Go ahead, Chris. You got
All
a
right,
second.
all right. I'm going to say this. I disagree with that because if they're talking about they're using that to lure some companies, they can't show their hand. But I want to explain this. What these guys do not do, and this is why governance has a reputation of this, is because they're not telling the truth. People can handle things if you tell them the truth. People, when I write letters, don't like a lot of crap I say. They can't refute it. When I worked, I told the truth. It didn't make me popular, but I stood by my word. These guys are not
30
telling
seconds.
the truth.
30 seconds. That was more than 10 seconds, Chris.
All right, I'm done.
Do y'all have a feeling that somebody's watching us tonight?
Oh, I know that all these guys are watching us. They all watch. And
We
you
can
know what?
see them watching us.
Wait, and you know why? Because we caught your asses. We caught what you guys were doing. We were the ones that did it.
All right, stay tuned. We've got comments that are coming in on our chat messages. We'll talk about those in just a few moments. And we've got an interview with Jessica Mallows that's coming up next. We're going to come back. We still got tons of stuff to get to.
No, so many.
We've already got into the recreation and budget segments. We've got to talk about election that's coming to Walhalla, which now the field is actually kind of set. And what do you have there? Warning.
This is for the OCC when they've tried to intimidate me.
I would like to thank my middle finger for always sticking up for me when I need it.
Yeah, baby.
I don't think he
yeah,
intimidates
baby.
very easily.
Yeah. We'll see you on the other side. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. I'm Jazzy Jeff, inviting you to join us for a night of celebration for the biggest fundraiser for the Oconee Humane Society. And not only are we celebrating the 10th annual Wags and Whiskers Gala, it's the 50th anniversary of the Oconee Humane Society. We would love to see all of you and all our friends at this year's Wags and Whiskers event. The event helps fund a compassionate future for all animals in Oconee County. This year, an amazing anonymous donor has agreed to match funds up to $25,000. And are you up to the challenge? Get your tickets now. For more information on tickets, email gala@oconeehumane.org, or you can call Bonnie at area code 781 Want to talk real quickly
2686.
and join us right here on Sunny 107.9 WFBS and LakeKiwiRadioOnline.com as we broadcast live from the Wags and Whiskers Gala. And yours truly here will be the MC. The Wags and Whiskers Gala, the 50th anniversary celebration for the Oconee Humane Society, October 20th from 6 to 9 at the club at Kiwi Key. Get your tickets now. Fall will be here before you know it, so go ahead and get your fall excursion on Lake Kiwi booked now. That's High Falls Boat Rentals, LLC, reliable boats on Lake Kiwi. It's conveniently located on the west side of beautiful Lake Kiwi, convenient to High Falls County Park. Oconee Nuclear, and the southern part of the lake. Pontoon boats, ski boats, deck boats, whatever you're looking for. If you want to fish, cruise the lake while relaxing and soaking up the sun, or maybe looking at leaves, you can do everything you can think of. All of the boats have bimmy tops for those who prefer maybe a little bit more shade. There's something for everyone of all ages. And they also have tubes, skis, and kneeboards available for rent. So with limited space availability, book now. You can book online right now by going to the website highfallsboatrentals.com. That's highfallsboatrentals.com, or call 864-309-8160. That's High Falls Boat Rentals, LLC, reliable boats on Lake Kiwi. Proud supporter of LakeKiwiRadioOnline.com. With Jessica Mallows, and Jessica is involved with a new project that is coming to the south part of the Seneca area around the Utica Mill Village. Jessica, excuse me, great to have you with us here for this interview.
Thank you, Jess. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we're glad to have you. Tell me a little bit about this project. Now, the name of it is the New Horizons Social Club, and for all of our listeners, tell a little bit about what this project is.
So you and I actually met in the Mill Hill back when we had the tornado. And sorry, I'm turning the volume down a little bit. We noticed that there was a bunch of help that's out there in Oconee County, and it wasn't getting to the residents and community that needed the help. And after that was all kind of situated, which we're still not completely healed from the tornado. But after we had figured, I apologize. Getting sound in the background. There we go. There still wasn't a connection between the organizations that are in the county and the community that is here. I've also noticed, being a part of the Utica Restoration team, we've had a bunch of organizations come in, and they have wanted to help, but they either didn't have enough volunteers or they didn't have the resources, and it kind of would fizzle away. And then another group would come in and do the same thing, but they didn't have what the other group had. If we could just pick up both of those ropes and tie them together and work together, we would actually be able to accomplish so much more here in Oconee County. I do feel like we have the volunteers, we have the resources, we have amazing organizations here in the county, but the information is not getting out properly to the people that it needs to. And if people want help, the options are there. However, it's just not getting out to where it needs to go, and there's not much connection. So we're trying to create a hub that people can go to with any problems, any issues that they're having, whether it be their mental state, addiction problems. If they're looking for help of any sort, we want to be able to provide kind of where to go to, who to talk to, counseling services, mentor services. We have a lot of programs that we're going to offer through the clubhouse as well, which if you go on the website, newhorizonsc.org, it'll show you all our programs of what we're going to try and start up once the doors are open. But we're also going to take all the organizations that we're partnering with, and we're offering them a place to run events, a place to do counseling services. We want as much free stuff for the community as possible. We want to run workshops that are free. We want to get people involved. We want more of a community feel, and that's something that we have, but we're kind of missing the actual feel of that here in Oconee County. So we just need to pull it all together as a team, and I feel like we can accomplish so much more if we all work together, opposed to trying to do different things in different areas. And we're not getting very far if we're not working together.
That's true. Now, you have actually had a groundbreaking ceremony. What is the address and the location for the facility once it gets built?
It is 928 East Main Street. If you have gone by there and you've questioned it, Griffin's actually did purchase the lot right next to that. So we're not where Griffin's is. We are literally on the actual corner of that East Main Street S-curve. And we're going to soon put up a sign. We're trying to get sponsorships going. There's a sponsorship packet also available online if you want to take a look at that. We are growing our partner network pretty quickly, which is really good, and it shows the support of the community and those organizations that are wanting to come in and make a difference. So, yeah.
Jessica, how long has this been in your radar? How long have you been planning and working on this? I know that it's been a while. So,
Yes.
how
So
long?
it's been about 2 years. We are a registered nonprofit. I went ahead and did all that paperwork, and God kept saying, wait, it's not time yet. And now all of a sudden, everything is just moving super quickly, super smooth. We have our investors that are on board with the property and wanting to help get up the building. So they actually said that, this is actually running smoother than any process they've ever seen. So they think it's a God thing. So, yeah, it's been about 2 years, Jeff. Maybe a little more than that.
Let's look at the future. If everything were to align, and that's what you're hoping it will, when do you see a potential completion date and the center opening up?
So my goal would be by the beginning of next year. And you fell, sorry.
That's okay. So you're saying the beginning of next year?
Yes, I would love to kind of have a soft open before the end of the year, and then the beginning of the year have an actual grand opening. That is what I'm trying to obtain. We do need sponsors in order to obtain that kind of date. We're really hoping people will jump on board and put forth the effort. So.
Well, let me ask this: far as if business or anyone or individual are wanting to help sponsor or make a monetary donation to what you're doing, and you mentioned it is a non-for-profit, how can they get in touch with you? And again, if you would, give the website address again, please.
Yep. Well, they can either call me on the clubhouse line, which is 864-533-0340, or they can email the clubhouse at clubhouse@newhorizonsc.org. Or they can visit the website at newhorizonsc.org. There's a couple of different ways that you can get a hold of me. It's pretty easy to contact us, and we welcome anybody who is looking to even partner or just to volunteer or be a part of this in any way, shape, or form. So.
You started the interview off, and I did want to touch on something and ask you a question concerning this. We're coming up on 3 years past the tornado. Are you still seeing a lot of issues on the Mill Village itself after people are still trying to recover 3 years later from this tornado that come through?
There are still roofs that need to be patched up. There's still families that are struggling and hurting, even especially with COVID. There's still people trying to find decent jobs that they can either walk to or get transportation to. It is still difficult there. I am not currently boots on the ground in the Utica area right now, but I do hear a lot of what's going on, and we do still have a number of people coming into Utica and kind of just pitching tents per se.
Yeah, I'm aware of, unfortunately, the tent city that has popped up seamlessly almost overnight. But one of the good things is that I think this would be a great to have this with your organization and building the New Horizon Social Club is the potential for that mill for the development that is forthcoming. You're right in an area that's kind of exploding in growth. We're seeing that every day if you take a look at all the subdivisions and stuff that's being built around it. I think this is just a good location in general for both not only the South 2nd Street area, which is Perry Hill, but also too for the Utica Mill Village. You're just kind of like centrally located in between the two. So this is actually, I think that's a great opportunity, and I really do. We're going to help you any way we can for building this, because I recognize that there's been a need for many, many years. And I want to go back and get it like it used to be, is because it was a safe place. Right. And people remember that 25 or 30 years ago that you could walk on any of those houses and, you felt safe. And it would be great to see that again. So having you working hard to build something to try to bridge that gap where we all can come together and have it strategically energized in one central location, I think that's going to be the key this time. And moving forward.
There's a lot that's going into this. There's tons of organizations that are already out there that are wanting to jump on board. We're going to have free first aid classes available, and then we're going to have an advanced first aid course available. There's going to be tons of workshops, events. We kind of want to also work with the city of Seneca when they're doing their events, because we're going to be more of a sober environment. That way, if downtown is running that kind of thing, we can kind of help be a part of it, because there's a lot of people who are coming out of addiction that did like that energized lifestyle, however want to try and get away from the addictive history that they've had.
So, exactly. And one of the things that we have talked about here on this show for many months is the lack of programs available for women, with women who have an addiction needs. It's next to nothing. There's nothing available. I mean, we have programs available for men all day long, but when it comes to women, and there's nothing here. And it would be
so
such.
I've actually connected with 3 other women groups who are also coming in and partnering with us, which will help fill in that need. I'm actually happy to announce that, which is really good. There's a sober living rehab facility that is actually here in Oconee County. It's not well known just yet. There's another one in Greenville. We also want to have workshops and events and classes for those women who are trying to get out of that type of lifestyle. That way they can learn to grow and become more of themselves within the society. So, yes.
All right. Well, let's do if you don't mind, let's do the website one more time and the telephone number. And again, for the next few weeks, if there's anything or months that we can do to help you to continue the promotion, we want to follow the project along. When we get to that podcast over there, because we need to start celebrating these little small things that help people in our community. And we need to let folks know that, hey, look, there is a place now that's working for a helping hand to help our community. I call it getting off the cycle. If we can get 1 or 2 people from that generational cycle of drug addiction or alcoholism, if we can break that 1 or 2, then we have a better chance of helping more and more people. And that's one of the reasons why I think your program is going to be successful. Website and telephone number once again, Jessica.
So it's newhorizonsc.org, and the telephone number is 864-533-0340. And we are on Facebook, and we are constantly updating our partners and what's happening. So it's good to kind of connect with Facebook as well. That is a good source of keeping up for information.
All right. Well, very good, Jessica. I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to talk with us, and do keep us informed. And maybe in October, November, we'll have another follow-up to see how we're progressing and see if there's anything else we can do for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, there you go. That was Jessica Mallows, who is working hard to put this program together, the New Horizon Social Club. And again, we appreciate her taking the opportunity to be with us. Before we get back into the conversation, we've had folks that are standing by with their comments, and we want to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the comments now. Our good friend Ernest is back. I've missed you, Ernest. Things just hadn't been the same without you, and I'm glad you're back with us this evening. Ernest wants to talk about Oconee County should go shadow a more successful county in South Carolina. Maybe they could assist in making realistic budgets that also keeps our parks and recreation in good shape. Did you all see the news story that Greenville County Council has been taken to court over their budget? Did you all see that in the news? Yeah.
What's the issue?
I'm not quite sure what the issue is. I just know that part of their legislative delegation for Greenville County is sued the County Council of Greenville over their budget.
I'd like to talk about a more local issue.
Can I finish reading the comments before he?
Yes,
I've
please
got comments.
Please do.
Ernest also says, quote, he didn't give the cost of living raise because he's focused on giving our officers a raise. They deserve those raises, but the rest of the county employees do as well. It's not a Republican fad to pay county employees. Support them the way it's supposed to be. Back the blue. And that came from our good friend Ernest. I think you know this next person. Lindsay checks in. Rainey.
Yeah, what she said.
She says, if you stand by anything, do not say sorry.
That's because he kept saying, I'm sorry, but this is the way I feel.
And, of course, Larry, you know who Larry is, don't you?
Yes.
Does he say something?
Larry says, hey. He says watching. And
that Larry. I thought that's Larry
no,
Bond.
that's
my
Larry
dad,
Bond.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
I thought you was talking about Larry D.
No.
He's got somebody playing the fiddle or something.
Shouldn't
He'll
the
watch
sewer
tomorrow.
be enough to lure companies here? If not, what's the point again? That's from Morgan. And I think that catches us up. So, Rainey, go right ahead. It's all yours.
I want to talk about a more local issue. And what I want to talk about is right before the show, Gladys gave me this caramel apple sucker. And that thing is stuck my teeth together for the whole first half of the show. I couldn't talk. And that was done on purpose because that Karen down there at the end, Kate plus 8, I mean, I'm telling you right now, didn't want me doing
Wait a
no
minute, I
talking.
gave you Cheetos too.
I tell you what, you stuck my teeth together.
Yeah, he fills with Cheetos, pretzels,
yeah.
cheese
That
crackers.
sounds like a personal issue. That's
Hey,
not
look,
local.
you know, if you need to talk to the manager, I mean, go ahead. But you don't need those glasses to do it.
You know what I need? If I got a manager missing me, I'm gonna stick him with my eyes.
I tell you what, Karen, I tell you that's something. What in the world?
Well, Jeff, I
the
like
world?
Jeff. Jeff's got my beetle haircut there. I'm testing all these different. You know, somebody says, "Chris, you need to get more hair," and I'm testing them every week. I'm testing a new one. You know, I can't. And
Where
people
was
are
that?
voting.
Hey, where was that made? Down at Greenfield? Was that Chinese stuff?
No, it should have drills or something come out of it or machine
Yeah,
parts.
spirals.
Well,
Well, I mean,
no,
that
that's
looks-
where the glasses come from. They come from Greenfield Industries.
Yeah, well,
China?
Chinese company down
So-
there.
Hey, we got to keep those people going. They need their retirement.
So, are you ready to talk about the big old elephant in the room?
Which one's that? I've got a couple things to talk
We
about.
we
here.
need to talk about a shopping center.
Oh, I've got it. I'm ready, and I've got a couple.
Sanford Boulevard will now be known as Oconee's Woodruff Road.
Woodruff Road.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So,
Lord,
I've been following off and on the Journal's post on their Facebook page, on their social media, and I'm going to tell you
gave up.
something. That's some of the most inviting, entertaining.
I just can't.
I gave up.
I
trying to
just can't
read.
wait. I can't wait to in 2029, 2030 somewhere. The planning commission is going to be still debating on whether or not they
Do a
can,
junkyard
they can
ordinance.
do that. No. And
They'll be disbanded by
no, but they're going to be talking about this 600-foot sign they got out there by the red light that they have to put in.
It's got a picture of
And
Glenn
then-
Hart on it,
But then
sitting on a toilet.
But then I just see Frankie Pearson in his wheelchair going, I give up. And getting wheeled out by Perry Smith, you know.
You know, I feel
It's
so.
like-
I really do. I told y'all this last week on the show. I really feel sorry for Frankie. Frankie's a good guy, but Frankie has been
gotta be
trying.
fed up with
Frankie
that.
has been trying to do something that, yes, I agree. I think would be a positive move. We have an issue right now, just within about 3 miles of this location where we're at, and that's on the Old Clemson Highway. It's a nightmare. It's a disaster.
Yeah,
we've got a junkyard sitting
Listen.
on.
Hey, but I want
That's been going on for nearly
Listen.
30
I
years.
know.
And I know
But the good-
because I used to live down there.
I know.
But the-
People have been calling about that place because it's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
For nearly 30 years.
And Frankie was
That
trying
is
to
no
do
joke.
something.
It is
Yeah,
not
but-
something new that Lake people
That-
came up with or any garbage like that. That has been going on for years.
All right, but
for
yeah.
people that were
We-
born and raised here.
We got to say this, though. We got to say this. This shopping center is on the north side of the Mason-Dixon line. Kenny Charles should be proud. It's not coming to his neighborhood.
Oh, that's right. I've heard of that guy.
It is. It's across the 123. So yeah.
good.
He said that's the Mason-Dixon line of Oconee
Well,
County.
he also said he wants more restaurants too.
But is he gonna come to Yankeeville to eat?
I don't know.
Oh no, that's close. That's getting up there in that little corner right there, of like
who-
towards the Poplar Springs side.
Are the developers communist, socialists,
Oh,
and
no,
globalists like Durham said?
here's the thing. The county
from
council said they didn't want foreign investors. They didn't want the Chinese, none of that stuff. Them investors that are building this are from Charlotte. And I'm gonna tell you, the best
Ooh,
Chinese
that's
food,
where I'm
the
from.
best Chinese food I ever had, I
that
had in Charlotte.
Well,
So them foreign investors are going to bring them
Let's-
foreign traditions in here.
Let's be honest.
And what are
do
we
you
going to
think-
do then?
What do you think the big anchor store is going to be?
Chinese buffet.
I mean, I don't think we're going to see a Costco or a Sam's.
It's probably going to be.
Oh no!
I just can't wait till they throw
Target?
a fit. When I can't wait till they throw a fit when I open up that Adam and Eve store in there. I'm going to franchise that one.
Those things are money makers. Can I say?
How do you know? I need you to stop. Time out. I need you to answer that
Straight
question,
up in
sir.
the weeds
You're
here
being
we are.
disposed right now. How do you know this place is
Well,
make
maybe
money?
I own investment in 4 or
the
5 of them.
trees.
That's how you got your hair, right?
I mean, we're just straight down in the dirt.
That's
now.
not a
Hey.
2-pay. That's a 3-pay.
Let me. May I
Straight
say
up
a
in the
couple of
dirt.
things?
Sure.
that-
Sure.
Okay. So
No, but when you open this thing up for 50 stores to come,
yeah, but that's
you
not-
you go down the list of
Oh,
stores
Lord.
that you can list and try to list 50
Lord,
of
will
them
you
without
tell
coming
him?
up with
I
Adam
don't
and
want
Eve.
to say I'm
Damn,
sorry
we-
to him. He keeps interrupting. Will you
All right.
please?
We don't even have enough people to support those stores.
Yeah, we do. You watch.
We don't.
Yeah,
We don't, Chris.
Oh, you
I-
No, but
I'm with
okay,
Kathy.
okay, but we just had an article.
wait a
We just
minute,
had an article in the paper about building workforce housing. Right?
No,
Did y'all see that?
I don't want to get started on that.
Workforce housing. What does that mean?
We're not done with the planning commission.
I know.
I had a comment about
All
the
right.
all right, all right.
We were still
Let me
gonna
say. Let me
Hold
say.
on. Time out. Let me get this show under control.
Ernest.
Because Ernest gets our Golden Nugget Award today.
Woo! Adam and Steve.
Get it, Kathy.
Oh God.
Get
Oh,
it.
Man, no,
Little more
Ernest,
cowbell.
Ernest.
More cowbell.
oh, hey,
Thank
let
you.
me see your drumstick. I want to show that off.
Yes, a nice person gave me these.
Oh man, look
For
at
a
that!
gift.
Look at that, and it even says FPS Studios. It don't say Juan Julio Sanchez or nothing. And that's professional. It wasn't done with magnifying glass in the sun. Although that would have probably burnt the thing in half. But
Okay,
this is
so
really nice.
now let me say something.
Thank you, Kathy.
Let's talk about the planning commission. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Talk about the planning commission. Talk about what's happening with the stores. So the planning commission. Now I'll say maybe Frankie's okay.
Frankie's a
but
great guy.
Frankie's over. Well, you know what? He didn't
I
stand
know
up.
him.
He didn't stand up when he should. When they called me a communist because I said people were going to lose their houses when infrastructure imploded. So that's it. So, but that's fine. He just didn't want to stand up like I did. But I'm going to tell you something. This planning commission has no power. They don't hit the big items. They're a lightning rod to take the heat off the council. I said that to the planning commission, and I stand by it as evidenced by nothing gets accomplished. So we have a master plan. We know where a lot of these vulnerable areas are. It's sitting there gathering dust. And I told them, guys, we don't know how bad it's going to get. Now, you have the county council leaders say, when we talked about proper planning, and then you had the old OCRP leadership, McMahon, and they all talk about it's the communist, the globalist, and the socialist. People, that is about the craziest shit. Just think about how stupid that is. Now, let me tell you something else. This unrestricted, non-planned that we're seeing, you're just seeing these stores. They're saying there wasn't any growth. We got 2,000 plus houses. You are seeing the beginning of something that you will not believe. And it's going to be just like Woodruff Road. I'm telling you, you're already seeing it.
Not this side.
Well,
I disagree with you.
but how many times have
Well, they thought there was
companies-
no growth. And look about these new shops coming.
right?
but not up that way.
But here's the
All
problem.
over.
But here's the problem with these mass retail ideas. Where I grew up, about 30 miles away, was this place called Fort Chiswell, Virginia, and they tried to put in some mall in the middle of a field next to the interstate. Well, the state didn't give them a good right of way to create an exit to get in there. That thing is dead. There's nothing there but
That's
violence
exactly right.
and homeless people, and it died. It was up there for about 6 years.
got it.
Okay.
And then it died.
And
You
that's
got
a
it.
good. That's a good point.
No,
May-
here's the thing.
But I get to
Here's
refute. Go ahead.
You can refute all you want.
no,
All you want.
I want to after
It-
you're done.
Here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
Tell you a little story here, but go ahead.
Okay.
This thing, it sounds really good. They're going to get a lot of people to invest in it, and it's going to flop because here's the thing. The people here in Oconee County are so used to eating Mexican food that they are afraid. They are physically afraid to try something new. And they will not go into a store. You bring a Ralph Lauren or a Polo or a
They're
Trop,
not going to shop.
But
Really?
those people are
They
not going to
won't.
go in
You
there.
don't think so?
No.
No.
Okay, now can I say
No,
something?
no,
No.
let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What was the store over there across from where the old Walmart was, and how long did it last?
Oh, I don't know.
What store?
It was behind the Walgreens. It was department store.
Goodies.
Goodies.
Yes.
Goodies came and went.
Yep.
Like, and it was
Well,
a fabulous store. It lasted all of what,
Why do
3,
you-
4 years?
Why do you think they built Hartwell Village?
There you go.
What was the reason they built Hartwell Village?
What is it?
Because of Clemson University.
Yeah.
Clemson University will buy, because those students are going to run across campus to buy stuff. The Marshalls, they got PetSmart, they Petco, they got all of the stores.
They're not going to go damn near Westminster to get anything.
Exactly. You're putting a shopping center in between Westminster and Seneca on 123,
What is
where
that?
the population
What's
doesn't
that?
make sense.
What's that really pretty?
Okay, now can I say something?
Sure.
Okay.
It's not going to happen though.
No. Okay, well that's your opinion. So let me just say this. So I was at Hartwell Village that Saturday with my daughter. I could hardly find a parking space, and of all the people walking through those stores, they were all people that were older. I saw some younger kids.
Where was this at?
Hartwell Village.
Right.
And I'm just telling you.
Right.
Now, these people that are building those stores, that's a much higher end store. Those people do not spend a dime unless they've done their due diligence and proper research.
I would have said
Right.
that 10 or 20 years ago, but
I'm just
now
giving-
it doesn't
we
matter.
could-
But-
it doesn't matter. So, but I'm just
Hey.
telling you,
Let me
you
tell you
have
another
an
thing.
unrestricted area up there that all of a sudden you go towards Westminster, you even have more stuff being cleared that's not even a part of this. My prediction is this: you're going to draw people into these stores.
No, you won't.
You don't have
Nope.
your population. This is
Won't
what
happen.
people don't want to accept. Your population in Oconee County and Pickens and Anderson
It
Let
won't
me-
happen.
let me tell
starting
you
to
why.
change.
Kathy, go.
Let me tell you why. And this is knowing people and having worked with people that actually drove down here to work from Rabun, and they drove down here to work from Otto, and they drove down here to work from Franklin, and they live up there, and they also drive down to guess where? The Hartwell Village to shop.
That's right. They will
They
not
have
stop.
had Goodies. They have had Beals up there in Franklin come and flop, and the Beals may still be there, but they've had different department stores up there come and go because they can't sustain them. They will drive all the way from up there to down here and shop because for whatever reason they can't keep something going up there. They will drive from over in
Hartwell
Rabun.
Village is
But
being
here-
duplicated
no.
right over here across from Walmart.
But
No,
here-
not-
but
no, it's a
here's-
little different. It's
but
a little different.
Here's the thing. And this is why Hartwell Village is going to be successful, and this one's not.
Mm-hmm.
They've got enough people to support working in Aldi's and Michael's and all these pet stores and stuff. These college kids.
And they've got a subdivision that's right
but-
there
but
close
here-
to
but
them
here's the
that
thing.
will drive quicker down there.
Oconee County,
Bay Shore.
but Oconee County has a 0.3% unemployment rate. Very low unemployment rate. There's nobody looking for a job, and there's nobody looking for a minimum wage job, and that's who you need to run all of the shops that are in this thing.
Okay, so we
and they're
could
not,
all-
and they're not. Hold on. They will not be able to substantially keep those people because they're paying a minimum wage, and if they raise their wages, they raise the prices, and then people are not going to go there and work. I mean, they're not going to go there and shop. They're not going to go there and eat.
Okay, so now there's one thing I think that we can all agree on. We all have our own opinion, right? This is your opinions, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's legitimate, and that's what we do on the show. But I can tell you, this is a change. My opinion is you're seeing the beginning of what I've been saying is happening. This county, for the last 18 months, these new homes, this shopping. Now all of a sudden, this is happening there. Hartwell Village, this other crap.
But-
this stuff is. My opinion. I'm just
But
giving you my
bro,
opinion.
let me refute that. But the growth isn't happening up there. The growth is happening between Seneca and Clemson. That's where the growth is at. That section of 123.
Oh, yeah, you wanna-
It's like 4 miles.
That's what's growing.
Yeah, but when
Seneca
you,
is
when
the
you
one
put
that
this shopping
that
center in here,
will not grow. Go ride from Walmart to Westminster and take a look. You will see exactly what I'm saying.
I believe.
I'm putting my header blockers on because I disagree.
I believe that. I believe
There it is.
that
There it
Walmart
is.
and Seneca is too far from Toccoa, too far from Fairplay, too far from Mountain Rest, and too far from Clemson to be successful without a population to sustain it. And we don't have that yet, according to the council.
It will.
Well, we're amazed that they didn't build it in Fairplay with all that amazing growth.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well, but-
Roger, for that comment.
But here's the thing about Fairplay.
I mean, I'm just
if I drive from Mountain Rest, well, Long Creek, I don't live in Mountain Rest. I see some weirdos live in Mountain Rest. All right, but if I drive from Long Creek to Anderson, I'm not stopping in Fairplay because I want to go to Electric City. They've got everything I want. And the best part of what's the best thing leaving about Anderson is coming home. Now, why do I want to have that Anderson any closer to the house than it is right now? I don't want to deal with the traffic. I don't want to deal with the people.
Right.
I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. And the traffic's going to be terrible. Who wants to ride from 85 up 11 like you're in the back of a buckboard buggy Amish thing, going down the
you
road
can say
to
that.
get there? They're not going to fix the road.
But you also have something else, too, in this general area that you're not even talking about. You have plants. You have manufacturing facilities. These people are working. These people work there. They're not going to get off and go to a shopping center. This just, it's mind-boggling. This was tried years ago, by the way, this same property, 25 years ago. But it's not different. The growth between Seneca and Westminster is manufacturing. Plants, jobs. That is your economic engine catalyst for Oconee County. Your shopping starts at Walmart and goes all the way down to the county line at Pickens, Oconee.
And
That's your shopping area.
Don't you believe that some people have kept it that way?
Okay, now let me just finish it with one last thing. This is what you're missing, in my opinion. These are higher end stores.
They get closer to
No,
Mike.
but we don't
these
even.
are-
No.
no.
We don't have any. We don't even know what's
Jeff,
coming.
You didn't know what I was going to say. I was going to tell you I liked your hair.
No one
And
has.
now you're
But wait a minute.
yelling.
Time
Look
out.
at-
Time out. No one has said anything. There is no contracts. We don't know
I know
what's
that.
coming.
It might not even work
I can
out.
assure you that the marketing folks from Target is not going to come up there and build. I can assure you Sam's, and I can assure you Costco's not coming to Oconee County to build. That's
Okay.
a fact.
Okay.
I mean,
Now,
they-
let
they-
me,
there's
Randy,
certain-
he cut me off. Let
All
me
right.
finish, and then you can have the floor. Okay, and I'm going to tell you this. You said there's no contract. I agree 100%.
There's nothing. We don't know
But-
who's coming.
That's fine, but these stores are higher end stores, and we are visibly seeing these higher end stores.
What?
Just let me-
Define
just
a
a-
high-end
ju-
store for
just a-
me.
Like
Define a high-end store
like
for
what's
me.
in Hartwell Village.
Like the
Marshalls is
Ulta.
not a high. Marshalls, you've got
Ulta.
Okay,
Ulta. That's a beauty
I'm
product
going to
place.
define a
Kinda.
high end as more
That's
as,
not high.
as
Well,
more
I mean,
of a
compared to
national.
Big Lots in the DG. It
I'm-
is.
yes,
I mean, come on now.
Yes, I'm talking about more of a national.
But if we
national
put two
presence.
Altas in Seneca,
Oh, Lord.
They'll
Just
both
think
have
about what that-
$20,000 of stealing.
but
They'll go down
no.
there and they'll steal
But-
$20
but
more thousand dollars.
just
That's
think
what's
of the
happening now.
But just think of the poor Mary Kay lady and the poor Avon lady. What are they going to do? We got to support local.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me finish.
Need another Alta. My
Let me
God.
finish. Okay, so you're just giving an opinion that doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm just going to give you mine.
Support local.
Just let me, so what? What are you going to do? You're going to put some what? Abe and Joe's up there or something?
We
I'm
need
telling
we
you,
need
man.
thrift shops, buddy. We need thrift shops.
Well, there you go.
We got tons
All
of
right,
thrift
so this
That's
this,
local.
Just you heard it here, and I'm going to tell you, I was right about what was happening with infrastructure. You wait. My point is this: they may not sign anything, but what I'm telling you is, you're visibly seeing this happening and this discussion with some of these national chains. So that means somebody is gonna build and establish an anchor, and they're gonna really thrive there. I'm giving you my opinion. These guys that are doing that they're not stupid. They don't invest unless they've done their research from 50 miles to see if they can sustain it. I'm just telling you. You guys think.
I agree.
Just wait, just let me finish. You think these guys are coming in here and sniffing around and doing this without doing their due diligence and the research, where they're spending at least $500,000 in really researching, okay, where are the demographics? Where's the growth? What kind of people are coming in? That's why they invest the money. It's just not some dude coming in that says, well, I always wanted a restaurant, so I'm going to put it in.
Can
That's it.
I tell you
I'm
that
done.
this
I'm
is
done.
that if I told you this, it blows everything that you just said out of the water, because they've already done the marketing plan. Texas Roadhouse did the marketing plan 2 years ago because they wanted to purchase the property where the Hampton Inn is at in Seneca. They did the marketing results, and you know what? They said no.
Yeah, but you're not keeping up with the demographic changes every day like
2
this.
years. 2 years ago. We can't get a Texas Roadhouse, okay? We've already had the Target discussion a year ago. They said no.
I disagree.
We've got a steakhouse coming down where Longhorn was supposed to build in Clemson. In Seneca, but they chose Clemson. Why did they choose Clemson? Because that is your geographic center of the population.
Right.
But
And
up here is not.
My point,
This is farmland. You've got the farmers. You've got the farmers market up there. You got the farmers amphitheater. It's in an area that's not going to sustain the population.
The gap is closing. The gap
Not
is closing.
that way. Not that
So-
way.
I
You can't even
disagree.
fill Westminster up. Westminster can't even get businesses to come in downtown.
I'm
So
talking about
so
Walmart that's around
so
there.
Costco, I did a paper on them in college.
Yeah.
They won't move to an area unless they have 50,000 memberships. 50,000
that's right.
memberships in a zip code, not 4 zip codes, not in a whole county, in a zip
code.
code. Then they'll build the store. 50,000
Oh, we're
memberships.
20 years away from that then.
Yeah, but
So-
a paper done when you were in college.
We're further than that.
A McDonald's
50.
franchise was $15,000 when I was college. Now it's about $800,000.
Look here, Abe Lincoln. I'm not as old as you are.
Well, hey, I'm just telling you that
I'm just
those dynamics and those demographics are changing.
They-
I'm
But
telling
they're
you
not
that.
changing. They're not changing fast
Well, then
enough
we just have to
because the generation gap is growing younger in Oconee
Look,
County.
we just disagree.
look.
And
There's
the
a
younger generation is broke.
Yep. The younger
They
generation is
can't.
broke.
They can't.
see.
They
But
can't
no,
buy
but no.
houses, they
Listen.
can't-
That there you go. The younger generation cannot afford to live here to work here, and if they can't live here to work here, they certainly can't afford the gas to drive here from Toccoa or wherever to work minimum wage. So
true.
Everything that's going to go in there is either going to fail or be so expensive that most everybody around here can't afford it anyway. So we got a lot of work to do to make that successful.
And that's your opinion, and I disagree, which is fine. You'll see. I mean, we'll see if you're right, and we'll see if I'm right. But I'm just telling you.
I think it's gonna spike, it's
And-
gonna peak, it's gonna be great, and it's gonna fall,
Okay, I disagree.
and it'll be vacant, and it'll be a vagrant problem,
I
and
disagree.
maybe we can start talking about the
We have a
homeless
homeless problem. We have a homeless camp behind Walmart and Home Depot right
And,
now.
and what
Maybe
did,
that's where your labor's going to come from.
but hey, you know what? And you know what? You say that, but there's rumors that Burger King in Seneca hires the homeless
That's true.
to work there.
They do.
And then they go get them, pick them up, and take them back at the end of the day. Because remember that one time I was coming over to do the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I told y'all that Burger King parking lot was empty, but there was lights on the people in there, and I went through the line. I was like, I thought y'all were closed. Oh, where's all the cars? And the guy said, they don't pay us enough to own cars. So
Yeah.
the homeless
And they
population,
make more than the people in the county.
yeah, but wait a minute.
right?
right?
Yeah, but
So-
you're talking about
but-
them going to pick them up. That's
You know
not a
the
big
hourly,
deal.
the hourly.
What's the big deal about
work-
So,
that?
but here's the thing: when we had this meeting with the county sheriff and the municipal society or whatever, that
Municipal
association,
Association.
the outcome of that was these aren't transient people. This ain't carpetbaggers that came down here and life didn't
No,
work out.
and I hate it when they
These-
say that.
These are your cousins. They are people
That's
from
right.
out Oconee County that
That's
your
right.
churches are failing to help. These are local people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not riding the cat bus up here
Nope,
from
nope,
Anderson.
I hate it when people say
They're
that.
not riding in here from Greenville.
I
but what-
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
But what's your
Our people are riding the cat bus to Anderson.
That's fine.
And
but
bringing
what
it
I'm
back.
saying
Yeah,
is,
but what is your-
but-
what
but
is your point,
My
though?
point is, the homeless population in this county is the county's people.
They are.
They're not coming here from Miami or
Yeah, but
Charlotte
what-
or
what is-
Chicago.
okay,
The-
so what is the point
So
you're making about the
point
home?
the point I'm making about the homeless is all these people that want to talk shit about our homeless population are talking about their friends and neighbors.
Yep, they are.
They're talking about their kid's cousin.
I don't
Yep,
talk
they
shit
are.
about
So,
homeless.
but you read it in the paper with that Steve Black's like, oh, the cat bus causes all the homeless problems.
Yep.
No, not taking care of your cousin
Now,
is
the,
what.
the cat bus doesn't cause the homeless problems,
So-
but it has caused the issue of getting drugs back to from areas inside. That's a fact.
Hey, and I'm
We
not
don't need
disputing
no
that,
help.
but
There's plenty of stuff here.
but what I'm saying is that the guy on the street corner is not from Atlanta.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but what does this have to
Right.
do with the stores that we're talking? We're changing.
We already
subject?
changed the subject 5 minutes
Okay,
ago.
well, then now
Well,
we're talking about homeless.
We're
Yeah.
just saying.
Okay,
we're
well,
just
go
saying.
ahead.
Well,
But say
But the
that.
segue is that it's
The buildings are
vacant-
going
the
to be.
vacant buildings, this and that is going to give another place for them to go and for them to be, and it just creates more problems.
I mean, look at Fats Cafe now. It's closed, and in the back of Fats Cafe is lined up with shopping carts, and people are living in the back of Fats
Well,
Cafe
the
right
whole
now.
Fats Corporation is gone.
Yeah.
We thought it was just ours because it was dirty and had cockroaches. Apparently, it was the whole corporation.
Yeah, they
South Carolina.
they filed for bankruptcy this past week and shut everything down.
They
Moving
went
to
to yellow.
Detroit.
They
So let me ask this question: what are we going to do?
About what?
What are we going to do about the homeless problem?
That's a big.
We need a homeless shelter, a real homeless shelter that takes people, even if they have a drinking problem, a mental health problem, a drug problem, rather than saying you have to be clean or you have to put all these stipulations on that, because we've had people die out in the elements, and rather than treating them like an animal, because actually we're better to animals than we are to people, because we'll take a cat or a dog or a horse or whatever, we'll put it somewhere. But we'll judge a person and say, you got to be clean for a week before we're going to give you a place and help you. When I just don't know how people who have never done drugs or never had a problem can sit there and say, oh yeah, you got a heroin problem you've had for 5 years? Go get clean on your own
It don't
for
work out.
5 days.
I agree. It does. I totally agree with
That's
you,
the
Kathy.
dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But there is also too the sense of the cycle of how do you help these people that doesn't necessarily want to get out of the cycle. They continuously come in the cycle. They're over and over. There's help for them. You've offered help. They went to help and they come back. How do you fix the complete cycle?
Well, you got to have a real rehab. You can't have this hope and a prayer rehab. And I'm not putting down anybody or anything that anybody does. But when you've been on hard drugs for years, you can't just do a 30-day rehab. You can't just do it. It takes real physical help from an MD. You have to go to an actual rehab, and it's not going to happen in 30 days. It's going to take months, sometimes a year or more.
I agree. Let me.
And we don't have that here.
Can I?
Well, wait. You had your say.
Hold on.
Kathy's done. I want to
Hold on. If they walked in the homeless person's shoe, they would change their view. They're not all junkies, and whatever else people say, that their people are down on their luck, and just some understanding. Totally agree. I totally agree with everything that Leslie just said. But the problem is you get the ones that don't want the help.
Right. Okay. So
well, wait.
wait a minute. Now you can talk. Let me say something about this homeless. Okay. So when you look at this, and Kathy's got a good point. You're talking about people who don't want to help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is that's probably a data point that's really more out there than most people that simply have fallen on hard times. I want to direct that back. You talk about this homeless issue. You talk about the drug issue. You're in a state that wouldn't even expand Medicaid, cutting all the services to people, forcing where they're going to deny women the right for abortion, and then the minute they have the baby, now I'm on to the next one. Well, geez, I don't know what to do. Hey, boy, you're a bad mother. So you look at all that. Those are systemic, large issues that I think cannot be solved either unless you're at a federal or a state level. You're not. How are we going to solve it?
I disagree. I don't believe that there's a systemic effort to try to solve the problem in the county. I would give $200. Listen. I would give $250 to the first preacher that says to me, hey, I walked up Verner Mill Road in Mountain Rest, and I talked to the population up there about how I could help them. Because I can guarantee you in the last 5 years, there hadn't been one.
I agree with that.
I can only speak for my church. I can only speak for Ann Hope. Every Wednesday, we have a feeding ministry that we've been doing a feeding ministry now for going on 14 years. And for the last 5 years, it's the same people. And Patsy, Miss Patsy, she does a feeding on the Mill Village weekday mornings for breakfast. And it's the same people. And they are good people. I will say that. There are some great people. But there's a lot to be desired when they try to reach out for help. The help just isn't there.
20% of people do 80% of the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it always is.
But you know what? You're making a great point, and Kathy is, Randy is too. You know what they say? You know what a lot of, and I'm going to say it, what these conservatives will say? You know, you get the churches to do it, you do that. The problem is this, it's a hit or miss on who does the help. You can't do that unless it's organized and properly funded and planned.
Here it is. Here's the comment of the night. And Morgan, perfect comment. We shame people for getting help half the time. People judge others for being on stamps, etc. It's hard for homeless to convince others that they're worth helping. And when you hear this other group that continues running their mouth, well, if you get a job, you wouldn't have this problem. That's the same thing that just keeps going over and over. It's those kind of folks.
Yeah.
Well,
Instead of coming up with real solutions, sitting at a round table, we're sitting here tonight having a conversation about what can we do.
it makes me very upset to sit in church and listen to these folks talk about how wonderful it is to send money to missionaries overseas.
But we won't take care of our
But-
own at home.
And then when they start to praying, they never pray for the guy down the street. They never talk about the mission at home. Are we supposed to wait until the Russians go, man, it's,
you're right.
it's
I've always
bad in
thought that.
Oconee County?
I've always thought that. You're right,
We
Randy.
we got these, Carpenters for Christ, whatever. It's a great thing, and those folks go and they do a great bunch of stuff, but they ain't did shit around here.
They've not done it for the local people. They'll go send money off.
Well, and if they do you want to, if you were living on the street, or if you had a drug problem, or if you had a hole in your wall and somebody came to fix it, do you want to be on Facebook or somebody's picture, or do you want to be the subject of the preacher's sermon that Sunday?
Well, if it's about help and hope, it'd be all right.
I mean, if it was help and hope and encouraging your congregation to go
really?
out, to encourage your congregation to go out and help someone.
Couldn't
But-
you tell
but-
the,
but-
couldn't you tell the
but the
story
thing
without
about it
putting
is-
somebody's name and
Right,
face
but
to it?
but the thing about it is the churches around here are more interested in who's in the nursery with the children than what's going on in the community.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're right.
And it's a damn sad
That's
shame.
kind of why I am in a
And if-
church that is right in the middle of a problem, because at least if I can do something little or small, it makes me feel that, look, the Lord is leading me to do something to help these people. I come every Sunday morning. I'm there at first at church, and there's a gentleman out there. His first name is Jason, bless his heart. He's been homeless for 20-something years. He's a great guy. I mean, we've tried to do everything we can, but the temptation and he's never really had what you say, clean living, clean being sober. It's a tough job. But there needs to be a little bit of compassion in this conversation.
I agree.
And if you don't have the compassion or the humanity side of it, and you all sitting there pointing the finger, oh, they should go get a job. It's a whole hell of a lot different if these people are in for a rude awakening that's living up here on this high pedestal claiming that they're better than everybody, that they've got everybody's answers.
But I still go back to this meeting they had and the outcome being that the large percentage of the people that are homeless in Oconee County are from Oconee County.
Yep.
And we're failing our family. We are failing our cousins.
Our
They're
neighbors.
all kin to somebody.
Ernest is right. People talk about supporting our troops without realizing that many of our homeless, they're
Our
veterans.
veterans. Yep.
With the problem.
Well, so that's another whole crazy thing.
I know, but
But
they're
we
a
could
part
talk
of
about
this.
that for years
But
and
they're
years
a part
and
of
years.
this, Rainey.
If-
They're
I'm-
veterans.
I'm going
They
to tell
serve
you
their
right now,
country.
if you're someone that served their country honorably, there is a lot of help out there for you. There is no reason for you to be a veteran and be homeless or left out in the cold. So those people can be helped and are being helped constantly. Tom Von Canel over there in Pickens, it's got this Semper Fi barn. I mean, he is doing something right here, right local, to help the veterans that are disabled and homeless. He's got a place for them to stay.
Yeah, but he's an individual.
But
He's
you've got
not.
to have the wherewithal and have it together enough
What happens?
to,
What happens
to
if he
go
leaves?
get it. I mean,
But
if
if
you're strung out,
you can't go get it.
You can't go
But
get
here,
it.
but here's the thing: if the population of Christians that call themselves Christians in this community would actually go out and do something about the homeless, it wouldn't matter how strung out they are; they'd get contact. Somebody would be talking.
Okay.
We just
I
got to
agree.
get up and get out there
That's
You wanna
fair.
talk about
and
town
do
hall?
something.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and move on. I think Chris brings up another point.
Yeah, let's talk about this town hall.
This is something I think we all are going to agree on here.
Oh yeah. So let me just talk about this town hall. You know, we talked about this town hall, and you know the Moores did a good job. You know, hey, we want to get all the councilmen. We want to talk. We want to have these questions answered, and we were talking to the council. Okay. Now you have a county council leader that's got a majority of 3, and then you got their acolytes that are constantly defending why they can't do a town hall. And this is how the narrative has changed. You got this one guy who's the OCC vice president. County council chairman, who's Matt Durham, offered to show up and debate the budget with the previous county council chairman. Okay?
Thunderdome.
The offer is still on the table. Y'all just don't want your gaffmeister, John Elliott, to be embarrassed. The uniparty OCRP is still trying to protect Elliott from embarrassing himself. That's why the current OCRP is a bunch of disingenuous rhinos. Tony Adams, John Elliott has a well-documented history, and I know they're listening, of avoiding public forums all the way back to 2018 when he ran against Etta Kema for District 1 County Council. Okay, guys, listen, you freaks. This is a town hall. It means the council is unified as one. 5 councilmen talking to all residents. Nobody gives a shit about having a debate just because you guys are lying the majority about the damn budget. Okay? So don't turn this crap around, okay? So that's my point. So if you guys would like to interject, go ahead.
So
I don't need to. You
I
said-
do want to say that our listeners that have been up in Nashville eating cheese boards all day
Yep.
have brought up some really, really good points.
Yep.
Okay, it must have been the amazing food they had. But Return Baptist Church, they are really doing great things. The community tree with Sergeant Moultrie are doing wonderful stuff.
I will share
So-
later on. I'll share the interview from more of the story with
Right.
Officer Mulwee.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
put it
that
on our
was-
Yeah,
page because
that
it
was-
really was a good interview.
But the thing about it is that's just a very small segment of our community that's trying to help, and the ones that need to be ashamed are the ones that ain't doing nothing. And you know who I'm talking to.
Well, you know, Sean Tilson too is a part of that.
The return, yeah. I mean, they're doing great stuff. They really are. But there's a lot more can be done, and a lot more money
let's just say
to
that.
be used here, not somewhere else.
How many people? Let's just think for a second. How many people you really think, far as the number wise, could we even closely put a number on homeless? How many people we think is homeless? Let's say our population 80,000. How many percent of that? 10, 20?
Now, I don't think there's 8,000 homeless people in Oconee
I
County.
don't.
But
I
as a
would
whole-
say
but as a
the
whole,
number's less than 300.
What about people that are just living in like really bad conditions too? I mean, if you want to,
I kind of want to conclude that too.
Well, so
yeah, because there are people that are probably living without water and
so you
power and stuff.
you know it's kind of like that where do you draw the line thing. There's a big bill we talk about billboards. You know, I can't wait to get mine in Mountain Rest, but there's a billboard. It's got like from horses, it's like cows and chickens and horses and pigs and cats and dogs. It's like, where do you draw the line on what you're willing to eat? The same thing with this issue. Where do we draw the line? Is it the guy that's living under a bush, or the guy that's living in half a home, or the guy that's living in a tent, or somebody
Living
that's
in a car.
just barely making rent and still can't afford it.
And you know, it hits home too when you're filling out your paperwork for your kids to go back to school, and it asks, and it has to happen because it's on the paperwork, you know, every year, if you live in your vehicle, you know? So it
That's a
has to be
fact.
a regular thing if it's on the paperwork every year, if you live in your vehicle.
Right. No, I mean,
So it's got to happen regularly.
Roger says that the homeless need smoke detectors.
well, the OCC's probably still got a bunch they're trying to get rid of. They're in a barn somewhere over Salem,
Somewhere. Okay,
covered with sticky notes.
I'm going to let you have the last say, Kathy, for tonight because I want you to discuss, let's talk about this abortion law impacting and what's going to happen. So, Kathy, I want you to have this segment.
Well, I could spend all night talking about it. We knew this was going to happen. You know, the legislature is all men. Men can't have babies, and a lot of the people making the decisions don't even have children. So here again, we knew this was going to happen. I'm not sure that there's anything that can be done about it if you look at the states surrounding us. You know, it's happening everywhere, and it's not something I really thought I would see in my lifetime. My advice to women would be this: keep your health information private. You know, when you go to the doctor with a broken ankle, the first thing they ask you is, what was the first date of your last menstrual period, and what does that have to do with a broken ankle? I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist here, ladies, but I don't know where this is going to end and how much further it's going to go, because I think we're in uncharted territory here. Keep your information private. If it doesn't have to do with your reproductive system while you're seeing the doctor, then don't answer those questions. Stop talking about your cycle on your phone. Drop the apps that track your cycle on your phone, because I don't know where this is going. That's the way I feel about it, and that's my advice to you. 6 weeks. I've had 4 children, and my 4th one, I didn't know at 6 weeks that I was pregnant. It wasn't planned. It wasn't anything. At 6 weeks, I didn't know I was pregnant. So I think it's ridiculous. I think we're going to see children having children, and I hope that when that happens, I hope that their mothers or whatever, and whatever horrific way that has come about, that they sue the state. I hope they sue this court, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel about it.
Even
I
when
hope they
they're
burn it
homeless.
down, figuratively speaking, because you know, this is paved the way for ridiculousness, and that's all I can.
Well, Kathy, what you just said is it's paving the way for a lot of problems for a lot of people, even men. If they can do that to you, they can do the same thing to men. Wait till they're going to regulate everything, and that's when it's too late. This mask mandate thing that they're talking about coming back in September, because COVID might spike again, because
COVID's already spiking.
but it's school. Everybody just went back to school. Kids are trading germs, bringing them home to mom and dad. That's
No,
the cycle.
I disagree. That's totally different. That's not like abortion.
But
That's totally
but the thing
different.
about it is, we have got to be very careful what we allow the government do to our freedom, and taking that freedom away from women, whether it's heinous or not. Because if it's a freedom, they get to choose whether they do it or not. If they don't get a choice, they took that freedom, and they'll take that freedom from me, and they'll take it from you. They'll take it from everybody.
It is not my decision or my responsibility. I am not the one. I'm not the judge and jury. But I'm going to say that Michael has a great comment. I wish they would learn you cannot legislate morality. God gives free will.
That's right.
Well, and
Which means
that's
what?
great what they're what he's saying about
You can't legislate
free
this.
will. I'm
This-
thinking more about an 8 or 9-year-old whose nasty uncle has raped them and they don't know they're pregnant, and they're going to now have to have a baby because all of these senators thought that it was a great idea to pass this, and they don't figure it out until the 13th week, and the law says that they are going to have to carry a baby, and that, my friends,
Is
is
wrong.
disgusting.
But you don't understand what you really feel about this argument until your child suffers a trauma.
That's right.
And then, you could be as pro-life as you want to be, but then you see your daughter in the worst state of her life because some heinous son of a bitch did something terrible to her. And then you're going to tell me that you're going to stand on your morals or whatever convictions you got and look your daughter in the eye and tell her no? No, you're not.
I know
You're
that.
not.
You're right.
You know what? And that is a powerful thing that all men need to think about. The ones having daughters, especially, but the ones that having kids, the boys that are doing nasty old rap songs about killing their teachers and the things they said they'd do to that lady's daughter in that song, they need to take a time out and listen to themselves and what they've been teaching their damn kids. And you know what? If we was raising all our kids right, we wouldn't have all this trouble anyway.
So
Well, and I'll tell you another thing too, and this is just, and I didn't mean to go personal, but as being an older mom and having a fourth child, you look at it too. We actually had, because our youngest was very, very much some people say a surprise, I say a shock. And we had to go to the high-risk doctor, the doctor, and my husband affectionately called him Dr. Doom, because every time we would go, he would say, if you make it to the next appointment. That's the way he would say, if you make it to the next appointment. Okay, so he was betting on us, on not seeing us again. Okay, so we and nothing that we wanted to do, but had to research what we would do if something went wrong, because South Carolina has laws, and even with the most unrestricted laws, when we got into further territory, if something went wrong, they weren't going to help me. I had 3 other children, y'all, that needed their mother. Now, those things don't cross your mind. I don't need the rest of South Carolina making decisions for me. And I don't need people worrying about, whether or not I'm going to hell and this and that. That's between me and God, me and my husband. And until you've walked that path or are in those shoes, you don't know those things and you don't think about those things. You just make these snap judgments. Oh, yes.
Everybody can agree that abortion for birth control is wrong.
I still just don't think people do that. I mean,
it
there
is
might
very,
be
very,
1/10 of 1%
right.
people that do
but
that.
but everybody can agree that that's wrong, however big a part of it is. But we have got to be realistic when it comes to hell.
We do.
Yeah.
We can't.
I agree.
We can't allow our mothers to die birthing a child,
Or daughters.
and then or our daughters, and then expect who's going to take care of. I'm gonna tell you, even a cow that has a calf in a field, because I'm gonna tell you, we're all animals. If there is something wrong that calf is not going to survive, mama will walk off and leave it. It's a terrible thing, but that's the human nature that we are trying to separate ourselves so far from that that we're causing, unbelievable suffering to the child that has all that trouble, to the family that has to care for that child, and all the way down the line, those things are terrible.
We're trying to make decisions for people that aren't ours to make.
Right,
That's
yes.
what they've done.
And it creates
That's what they've
it's
done.
creating terrible
The
crisis.
government is making decisions for people that aren't theirs to make.
Well,
They're already in a
it's a state.
horrible situation, and they're making these decisions, and it's
agree.
just gross. It's just gross, y'all.
So Jeff, so let me interject this. Okay, so first of all, this is a private decision between a woman and her doctor, period. it impacts the woman. And these people that want to make these judgment calls, I've had people tell me that, oh, yeah, Democrat, that's right. You want to wait until the baby's born. If you don't like the hair, then you just can go ahead and kill him because you're going to have the abortion and blah, blah, blah. That is crazy. This is nobody's business but the woman's. This is nobody's business but the woman's and her husband that wants to keep her alive. So when there's a decision being made, you want to get on your high horse and say, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's crap. And like Randy said, they talk about it as a birth control. That's an anomaly. That's way out there. Now, the reason I really want to talk about this is being private because you interjected one thing when it came to mask mandates. Anybody that's against mask mandates that has a kid that's in the hospital with leukemia would not let anybody come into their room if they didn't have a mask on. Right? The hospital will say, really? You want to come into that room without a mask because it's your right and you're going to get your kid sick and that kid's going to die? Anybody out there that wants to stand on their high horse about, I can't mask, okay, would never allow somebody in their kid's room that was dying from leukemia that could so easily be infected. I know that. So let's think about that and translate that over to, I got kids, I got small kids, I'm a senior, I'm older. Why in the hell? If you know, and science says, and doctors say, and researchers say that masks drop the probability of somebody like me or someone's child or whatever from dying, why in the hell would you fight that? That's stupid. There you go.
But why haven't we been doing that since the 70s?
Doing what?
Mask mandates. We should all be wearing something if that was the case all the time.
I'm talking about COVID.
Well, we're talking about seriously now. It's getting to the point. It's just not COVID. They want you to wear a mask for everything. And if the mask has worked so well,
No, tell me where they want you to wear it for everything. I haven't heard.
Oconee Memorial.
What?
Yeah, it's
Actually,
yeah.
They want everybody to
actually,
wear
no.
masks?
Yeah.
I just had surgery.
Not right now.
Not quite 2 weeks ago, and they didn't even wear it in pre-op.
No, they didn't.
I didn't hear that they want to.
They didn't even wear it in
Go-
pre-op.
go-
So-
Go to the ER.
So, but my point is,
Okay.
my point is
because
with that.
why? Because they're showing that somebody has a propensity that they could pass the veil
And I
and get
can
somebody
tell you, I
sick.
went to the ER too.
I don't have a
right
problem
before
with
I
that.
had the surgery, and they didn't wear a mask either. So they haven't been masking.
But pretty soon, if the government continues down the route that they're going with all of this legislation, we're going to get phone calls that tell us to report to the doctor for whatever reason the government wants us to, not what we want to do. And I'm telling you, I'm not part of a puppy mill.
But that's fine. Or you could be like what happened in Michigan when Trump didn't want to have mask mandates, and all these guys went on the state of Michigan and protested, even with the guys carrying the Nazi flags, because she was trying to keep people Whitmer safe.
Now we're a local show. We're not talking about
Well,
that. We're
you're
talking about right
mask
here.
I can tell you
You're
about-
talking
I can
about
tell you
mask
about the
mandates
mask.
in the government.
I can tell you about the mask mandate too. We wound up in having a kid that gets sick easily. No mask mandates and the way they do the things at school and everything. I can tell you that last year we got flu, we got COVID, and my son was hospitalized twice. So I mean, that's you know,
Hey, kids
and
are.
that's,
I love them, but they nasty. They snot and sneeze and crap on everything.
they are, but you know, when you got a kid that gets things, you know, and doesn't react well to things, it's just.
Yeah. We kind of drifted off only because you're the one that brought it up.
But,
I would like to talk about return on investment real quick, very, very quick, before we close things out. Because I agree with Kathy on it. Well, she and I both lockstep with this, you know, as far it's private. When we're talking about abortion, it's between a woman and her doctor who's qualified, board certified, not some nut job that has no medical background whatsoever is going to make a decision on whether my wife or my daughter or my grandfather or my granddaughter.
I hope your
I got
granddaddy
excited
ain't
is going
having
to
one.
die. You guys know exactly what I mean.
All right, a return on investment. Let's go.
Okay, this is great. So in the Journal, there was this article. Clemson will soon field bond options spread across several years to fund $4.6 million in recreation enhancements to Nettles Park, Clemson Park on the Green Crescent Trail. Now, this is my favorite OCC communications director. This is what I'm talking about. Democrats and squishy Republicans pushing UN Agenda 21 PRT stuff that is a poor return on investment. Now, they wouldn't do a return on investment for Sewer South, but all of a sudden now they say there's a poor return on investment for what they're talking about. But won't push hard infrastructure like sewer to the I-85 corridor that will yield an eventual significant return on investment. Just my opinion. That's what he said. Okay.
I posted
That's
UN
bullshit
Agenda
because there was no
21.
return on investment that was ever done. And this UN Agenda 21 is about it's sustainable environment, and everybody knows. Well, you don't know. You wait until water starts becoming less and less on this globe, and you want to start talking about wars. When people don't have wars, that's when the country starts fighting.
But return on investment for Sewer South and return on investment for a greenway. We have no due diligence done on Sewer South. It's a shit
Right.
pipe to nowhere. Nobody knows who's going to use it or where it's going.
The point was him
Right.
even mentioning that
Right.
when he would.
But then he wants to know what the return on investment for this
wrap it up.
for this greenway thing is.
Right.
But I tell you what, if you take a greenway from Stump House Tunnel all the way to these 50 shops, people are going to use it, and it's going to pay for itself, and it'll make more money than Sewer South does, taking the poop away from
I
Blue
agree.
Ridge.
But the only reason I brought this up was because of somebody talking out of both sides of their mouth. They would spend. It's going to be $100 million by the time everybody gets done. That they said it was just common sense, and he wants to bash Clemson for something as small as this. $4 million, that's peanuts.
Right.
Who knows they didn't do an ROI? But you can't say one thing and turn around and say another. It's an example of the disingenuous that has to do with saying you're cutting the budget, but you're not doing it.
Oh,
that
you're-
was.
Well,
I just
hey,
wanted to work that in.
The UN agenda is on our page too. I posted that, all 351 pages of it, if anybody wants to do a little light reading.
That's Randy. You wanna say-
What's it? What's my honey doing here?
Don't you want to say anything about how great your honey is?
Oh, it speaks for itself. It's
It
good.
does. It's delicious on biscuits.
Is that because you don't have anybody in between you
There-
and the,
there's
and the
nobody
hive?
between me and the bees. That's right.
There you go. Just
So-
me and the honey.
Ernest says no parks for all these new babies. No abortions, no parks. We aren't communist.
Jeff?
Yes.
You got that look that you want to wrap up. What's up?
No, I'm just sitting here, just y'all carry on. I'm over here in the corner. I don't need to be involved in this conversation.
Hey, it wasn't me. It was him.
It was me.
It wasn't Kathy.
It was
she
me.
said.
More cowbell.
Okay, so you wanna go around the table for the last points and
Sorry.
wrap it up?
Sure. Have at it.
I'm done. That was and I want to thank Jeff for letting me say what I wanted to say.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
instead of a debate, how's about a thumb war? I mean, that makes just as much sense.
Rock, paper, scissors. Up.
No, golly.
Ah.
Well, I tell you what, I want to take my final moment to say to Matt Durham, thank you.
You're his kiss on his list.
I want to say that. Thank you for taking the time to research, do your due diligence on the budget, and come right back around to what Julian and John told you that you needed to do. Good job, buddy. Good job.
But no government employees are getting any money,
Hey, it's the best he could do.
and I salute what the
It's-
police are doing.
Hey, you know what? He's probably going to have people outside his house with pitchforks and torches, knowing that his budget and Julian's budget was the same.
Hey, you want to know what irritates people? Is when they talk about what they've done for the police and they talk to the firefighters. They didn't say jack when those police on January 6th got the shit beat out of them. Hey!
Kathy, wrap us up, please.
Y'all, have a good week.
All
That's-
right.
Have a great
just
week.
hang on and see what happens. Yeah, have a good week.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Well, there you go, folks. We'll see you next Sunday at 7 o'clock. Let's Talk Oconee SC. Our show is available anytime, 24/7. We guarantee you that the OCC will be watching it right now. And tonight, tomorrow, and the next few days. And then they'll even take clips out of it and put on their page because they know that, look, we know
They
you're our
secretly
fans.
love us.
We know that you love us. Because if it wasn't for you guys posting everything about us, we wouldn't have over 3,000 plus followers. So that, we thank you.
And please, if you're going to put
More
my picture
cowbell.
up,
More cowbell.
please put my picture up of me in my bee hat. Thank you.
And just remember,
Woo!
we'll see you at the local dog park.
Oh, that's right.